So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This is Matthew Bailey alongside my critiquing partner in crime, Ricardo Medina.
Hello, long time no see, long time no hear, Matthew.
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah,
This is another episode of BS Beats and Bailey.
Yeah, we took a little break because last week was just shit, and we're just in a serious slump in the summer. I mean, So
right now,
don't give a shit about it.
just the bottom. You can't even call it bottom barrel because that's like
it's pretty bad.
August time. So
Yeah, and I find this slump real bad. So just as a mediocre crap came out.
Yeah.
We do what?
Yeah.
No, so we have a
I know
list.
you saw a lot of crap. I saw a few
quick
crappy
list of the
movies.
little crap. We have the last time we didn't do a surprise. We didn't get a chance to do Angry Birds, so we're gonna just do a review of that. I thought that wasn't so bad.
We're also going to talk about the new Ninja Turtles movie, which unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your critique of it, I think you're already seeing that as Ninja Turtles.
I watched that last week when it came out.
But we both saw the latest video game to movie adaptation. Of Warcraft, a film that we've been waiting for a good while. I personally was thinking that it could be the video game movie that could,
really be the first.
Bring this new standard of well polished, great video game movies. We haven't gotten that in a long while.
But first, we're gonna just cut through a bunch of bullshit that we see.
Cutting through the bullshit.
Yeah. Now you see me too. Bullshit movie. Neighbors 2. Better than the first, in my opinion.
But the sorority rising.
Yeah, but still a bullshit movie.
Yeah, and the do-over. Well, I'll talk about the do-over, which is
all right, so that's cutting through. Now you see me too. So the first film is about this group of magicians. The idea of modern magic. But let's just be clear here. Prestige. This is not.
No, it's not.
This is just really lazy filmmaking. Terrible script. Mark Ruffalo was in the last one as the hidden magician, and then this guy, what's his name? Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. He was in the first one, or he's like, okay.
He was the villain. He's kind of the main villain in the first one. And he's
like what, some master magician?
Right, and then another master magician had to deal with it. It was stupid. Script was dumb. They just do a bunch of magic tricks, and it's just the difference in this one is now Isla Fisher was gone missing. They leave I think she's pregnant in real life.
Yeah, she is.
Or something like that. Right. So from what that's what I understand. And she just they replaced her. I forget who the actress is.
Lizzie Kaplan. Or Kaplan, or whatever her name is.
Whatever.
I think it's Lizzie Kaplan, yeah.
This was worse than the first one for me. This was just really lazy and really stupid. The script was dumb. This time, Morgan Freeman's character is kind of working from the shadows from prison, but he's working with another group. And basically, the big reveal, and it's kind of a spoiler, quick spoiler. What's his name? Daniel Radcliffe. So another magic reference. He is a villain as well.
He doesn't know any expecto patronums or anything.
There are a couple of jokes something in there.
Okay.
But this was kind of a waste of my time. It was just I'll give this I'm just gonna rate it quick. CC8, low CC8.
Ooh, like what, a Tuesday show, a little man.
Tuesday show, matinee. Just rental just rent it whenever you get a chance, or just barely spend some money. But you don't need to go and see this. Script it, really lame. Just half-ass filmmaking that the actors kind of as friends, and just to bring up a small filmmaker to come up in Hollywood. That's it.
But they did have I don't know, I expecting a show like this to have some kind of like self-referential humor, like
a little bit.
Yeah, we're winking at the camera, haha,
a little bit. Serious. No, but the first one did that as well. The first one had all these little small jokes, and especially with what's the boy, shitty Lex Luthor, the worst Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg. Yes, he makes a bunch of jokes on the last one. Mark Ruffalo, if I remember correctly, I don't know if I was probably texting or wasting my time in this one, but I think Mark Ruffalo did not make an appearance in this one, if I remember correctly.
Wait, I could have sworn he was in this movie.
Was he in this one? Yes, he was.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting actors, yes?
Yeah. Sorry to say it, but I really, really didn't feel this one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just almost immediately forget it, because I was barely remembering what we had to review.
Yeah.
This one, just skip it. It was a colossal waste of your time. Don't worry about it.
Alright, and what
Neighbors
else? Neighbors 2.
Next. Right.
Sorority rising.
First piece of bullshit. Next piece of bullshit. Neighbors 2. Funnier than the first one, in my opinion. Better than the first one. They did a lot of good feminist stuff, kind of. They had some surprisingly funny guest roles. So people who I think are funny. So this guy, Kyle Mooney from SNL was in it. He had a little role.
Serious?
Yeah, and I think he's a funny dude. Kelsey Grammer was in this as the main girl's father. Okay. That's a kind of funny moment. It's
main girl as in what? Chloe
Grace Moritz, right? Right. Then he had that girl from Dope.
Okay.
The black girl, she was cool in it. She had a nice little side character.
What about Chloe herself? I was worried about her character. You know,
she's a bad. Let's just be clear here. I think she's a bad actress. She haven't improved. She haven't done. I mean, she fit well in Kick-Ass. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course it did.
Love her. She
not a particular enough range.
Not a particularly good actor. Yeah, and because I remember she was in that one with Denzel Washington, where she was a prostitute and Denzel had to.
Oh right, the Equalizer.
Right,
which
that
was
bullshit.
Right.
Yeah,
it was high. Yeah.
That same level. It's that's just she not funny, and because she not playing because in Kick-Ass she was funny in the sense of look how this cute girl doing crazy shit and cursing
and cursing like a sailor.
Right.
And all that shit.
That's it. But when it's time for her to actually be funny and do comedy roles, don't work. Not funny. Seth Rogen kind of funny in this again. Big fan of.
But not Seth Rogen means Seth Rogen again, right? I know he tends to do that a lot with
right. It's him. It's him playing himself.
Yeah.
Rose Byrne is for me. She's funny and really cute and she works.
What about Zac Efron? I thought.
I hated again. The editing in this was shit. So they decided to pace his character as well. He have nothing going for him after college, kind of thing.
Right.
The character's a complete loser. He kind of still working in retail. And the boss is a high school guy. They had a whole bit with that, and it just wasn't funny and it didn't work. They had a bunch of side characters I remember from other shows. Like, this guy like McLovin was one of the friends, and from Kick-Ass and
Superbad.
Two of them was from Kick-Ass. I forget.
Yeah,
and it just was kind of funny. It had its moments, but it's just you get the sense of comedy actors who just not particularly memorable. Just come together. So it's a bunch of basically C-listers coming together and trying to just doing a really mediocre script. Yeah, I had to get us again another low CC.
Yeah, so it's another sequel that just shouldn't have been
pointless. Yeah, it
shouldn't
exist. They did the whole. They tried to do the whole feminist thing, and it was kind of funny, I suppose. They have this one funny bit in the beginning, early in the film with Kristen Wiig. That's the person I'm trying to remember. She has a bit where she's the school dean, I think, and they basically wanted to ban the sorority, and they have a whole bit of how they kind of made fun of political correctness, the back and forth of how you could abuse abusing, and how to abuse being abused, and there's that back and forth, and I thought that was a reasonably funny bit, but it was edited shittily, so it didn't really matter.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah. Point is, not a movie, pretty weak, not worth talking about, not particularly funny. Didn't work for me. It's still funnier than the first one, so I suppose that's a plus, maybe.
Okay. But I haven't seen either. I actually wanted to see Neighbors too, because I heard it was kind of funny, but didn't get around to seeing it.
Get around to your bullshit, you do over.
Right, but the bullshit that I got around to seeing, and fortunately for me, I didn't get to see it on the big screen. Hallelujah. Was the Do-Over. This is the second.
Did they show that in theaters or it was entirely?
No. This is on Netflix.
Netflix, right?
Exclusive movie, whatever.
Which is where Adam Sandler belongs.
Yes. This is his second film
that he did
under the contract that he has. Well, his company, Happy Madison, has with Netflix.
How many films he has? What's the contract he have? How long?
He has 4 films.
Oh,
so
really?
he did Ridiculous 6 last year, which that couple with the coupler made for 2 of his worst movies. I actually heard a lot of bad things about Ridiculous 6 being racist. I didn't watch it either because of the bad press it got.
Yeah.
Some actors walked out of it because they were offended by the caricatures and
all that
stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just not a show I'm going to submit myself to. I mean, I just watch a bunch of shitty movies, every once in a while, but not that.
Yeah.
So the reason why I watched The Do-Over, because I gave up on Adam Sandler a long while ago. Ever since I saw Jack and Jill, that's when I gave up on him.
When did I give up on him, boy? Jack and Jill was a low point, but it had something before
that was the year came out. I can't remember when. That was the worst movie I saw.
Yeah, and he was just like, this man even give a shit. And
that's the problem.
I think it was Jack and Jill, because if you watch, I remember Jack and Jill, there was a post-credit scene or a late scene in the movie where they was basically talking about not giving a fuck. There was just like open contempt for the audience, in my opinion. So
like when they were talking, like,
right? And it wasn't breaking the fourth wall so much as it was a wink to the audience that and it was with him and this other
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, yeah. 2 of them, and they was having a scene, and it's like, wait, this is about us, like they're just fucking us up now.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ridiculous that this is the point he reached in his life. As far as I'm concerned, Adam Sandler is a nihilist.
Yeah, I remember you said that before.
He does not care about anything. He is a complete, just don't give a fuck. He probably gave up because he tried genuinely good movies and they didn't work out, or they didn't make money, which is
like what, like Rain Over Me,
Rain Over Me, Punch Drunk Love. He have a couple movies,
but I don't think they made that much money.
Right,
in the box office,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And he think like it in his head that these movies that should work out in terms of money. It's like, no, your movies don't work like that. Yeah. Sorry to say.
I know he had luck with, I remember you mentioned before, with like Hotel Transylvania, you know, those
yeah.
animated films.
Which I find wasn't so bad. The first one wasn't so bad. I thought the second one kind of sucked. But the first one was, I was like, yeah, you should be doing this or take that direction with it. But he just don't care. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a big make-for-work program. It's just give his friends some SNL money, quick check. Yeah, look, whole 100,000. Yeah. Easy.
I think one of the problems is because of how old he is. Because right now he's clocking in at 49.
Fine, but that's not an excuse, because I get his comedy and his style of comedy is very dated.
It is.
I get that.
Like in the 90s when he was at his prime, you know.
Right, I get that. But is it, and the style of humor doesn't work anymore. You know, exactly. all these jokes about, and there's a lot of sexist jokes, you know, politically correct, incorrect stuff, and it's lazy, and I don't mind politically incorrect humor. That's fine. It's just it's very lazy, bottom of the barrel stuff. Yeah. He always was that.
Very juvenile.
Right, yeah, he was always that guy. And, you know, it's all of his jokes is, I am 14, this is funny. But here's the problem. All of the 14-year-olds aren't 14-year-olds anymore.
Exactly.
The 14-year-olds that you currently should be, quote-unquote, appealing to, those children are different. Children, they don't laugh at the same stuff. And he doesn't get that yet, for whatever reason.
Well, maybe he does get
like,
it.
I think he doesn't.
Do anything about it.
I think he doesn't, because Pixels was a perfect example of him not getting that. He just made this movie that what he thinks young people might like. Yeah. And you're wondering, wait, you even play these games? And that's the worst part, is that even if it was for its time, it's, you know, you have people who just lazily appeal to a false vacuum. Mm-hmm. They think this vacuum exists. If I put out this game in movie, everybody's going to love it. And nope, that didn't work. And he just spent a ton of money on that shit. Yeah. And everybody was like, yeah, what the fuck you doing? Who this for? You know. Exactly.
But the problem with Pixels, and this is another problem with this movie here, The Do-Over, is just, you know, like, all right, I know he's old, right? Yeah. he's 49 right now at this moment. Like, I'm not expecting him to be this kind of accent-wearing guy, doofus, whatever, like, you know, with Waterboy and Happy Gilmore. Right. Like, I'm not expecting him to do that, but at the same time, he just comes off into the acting like really lazy, and like he just don't give a shit. Yeah. And I saw that with Pixels, just like, well, yeah, Adam Sandler, blah 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 blah. You know, he just kind of acts like, you know, just monotone.
No, but Pixels was frankly insulting, because like the Just God character in particular was,
I hated this character.
Everything that you hate, like everything, like right now in again, don't want to go political, but everything. You expect that a sexist gaming person would think like and approach life as, that's that character.
Or you mean like how he was in love with the
and
character.
He won over the woman, and then the girl transformed into with his Cubert transformed into the woman. I watching this like, dreams now. And I watching this like, what the fuck is this shit, Dread? You serious with this? Like, if I was, that's the thing, I'm not even a person who's get offended by shit like that, and I was like just pissed off at shit like that. It's like, dude, you just waste my time.
This is not weird science.
That's my problem. Exactly. It just had this dumb weird science hold back to everything. That's what I think. I think Adam Sandler still think everybody is 14-year-olds in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good thing to bring up that.
And then this Do-Over, from what I understand, is about trying to get a reset in life. Like things don't work out.
Yes. Yeah, like, dude, you literally hit the nail on the head right there. Like, this is this man's gimmick right now. Like, he realizes, okay, he's not getting any young anymore, so let me just play off of this whole nostalgia thing. Right. Camila worked before with Wedding Singer. That was way back in 1998?
Right, but exactly.
Best movie, actually, honestly. Best
right,
movie
it's one of his better movies, in my opinion. Yeah. That is true.
And then Pixels, of course, going back in the 80s. So in the case with The Do-Over, it starts off with this high school reunion, and you're hearing these 90s songs. You're hearing Good Vibrations from freaking Marky Mark, now known as Mark Wahlberg, and you're hearing Baby Got Back and those kind of songs, and those one-hit wonders. I'm like, all right, okay, high school reunion. But here's the thing, before I even get to what the story is about, I'll just run it through quick. The reason why I wanted to see The Do-Over is not so much because it's Adam Sandler and David Spade, you know, but because of the genre, action comedy.
Oh, wow. That was the genre?
That was a comedy.
You're joking?
Action comedy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was you for sure.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last time I saw Adam Sandler in an action comedy was, you ever remember a movie called Bulletproof? It's with Damon Wayans. It came out in 1996.
He wasn't that?
He wasn't it.
Okay.
He was
I barely remember.
So is one those cliche buddy cop kind of thing, but in this case is Damon Wayans was a cop and some accident happened to him, like he was left for dead, some kind of shit. So but the point is, he had this plate on his head, hence the title Bulletproof. So I guess everybody, all the gunmen had to like fight him. It was like, wait, don't shoot his head. Okay. Ricochet, he dead, some shit. But Adam Sandler was a convict.
Okay.
And so basically, all right, we'll think of it like U.S. Marshals. Remember that? The spin-off from Fugitive?
Yeah.
So like, prisoner and cop had to go to a place, things happen, so now cop had to protect prisoner, and now they have to work together to get from point A to point B. It's one of those type of shows now.
Right.
And I don't particularly remember everything about it. I remember seeing it on USA. You know, that's how run-of-the-mill that show was, that it showed literally on USA Network. I think most of Adam Sandler films showed on USA.
Right.
Like Waterboy, Wedding Singer, Happy Gilmore, particularly I remember it showed there, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, and Big Daddy as well too, which was like the beginning of the end of his humor at least.
Big Daddy was, I barely remember that.
That was him, and he found a kid who he had to take care of this little boy.
Right,
and
yes, I remember
kind of
that.
thing, right?
That was, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I forget, that was rubbish.
Anyway.
He had his in-between movies that he tried. Like, Click was an interesting one. He tried, I didn't
like how Click played out though.
Right, in my opinion. I think, here's the big thing. I think this guy was miscast. The fellow was the inventor. Shit, what was his name? And it was his son or something.
Not Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Right.
I thought he was miscast as the role. If they get somebody better, they should get somebody different that would have played more serious.
Okay.
Because the movie tried to...
Walken played as Walken.
Exactly.
Played.
And he I find they could have made that role a bit more serious and made that work.
Yeah.
And that it would have worked better. But it didn't work as is.
Yeah, but I didn't like the humor. Like, there was one moment I'd never forgot. It just scarred in my memory where he went back to his boss. David Hasselhoff played the boss. So boss is cussing him out. He pauses him. Like, he pauses time.
Right.
And then he goes up to him and he slaps him over the face. He punches him, and then he farts in his face. And I was like, you really tried all this
exactly.
ass humor?
He's always do that. I think he can't help himself to put this dumb bullshit in the movies.
Yeah, it just really turned him off. But anyway, get back to Dover, right? So the premise is, he's right. He at first you're thinking, well, he says that he's this FBI agent, right? That's what he claims he is.
Right.
So he runs into an old friend of his, played by David Spade, and David Spade is like 51 years old right now, and you can see it in his face. He's really old, right? Now they established that David Spade is like this loser. He comes in and he's watching his wife dancing, like really drunkenly with her ex-boyfriend, played by Sean Astin of all people. I didn't even recognize it was him until I saw the credits. Like, oh shit, that's Sean freaking Astin though. And I saw Lord of the Rings before, recently actually. So they meet back up after the reunion. They talk about, well, all right. Well, Adam kind of playing like, yeah, my life is shit and everything, and everything is good for me. But what about you? You're married. The girl that you wanted all the time. Now you're married with her, but life sucks for you still. Why? He has two twin stepsons who treat him like shit. The wife still treats him like shit as well too. She was cheating on him and all that. So they say, well, all right, well, dude, just get out of this humdrum life for years. Just have a yacht. Let me just go on the yacht. Let me just go out for a weekend. So they do that. They go out on the weekend, and then one night the yacht blows up, just like that. And David Spade wakes up. He finds himself on a bed. He's roofied and all that. And then Adam is like, well, yeah, I roofied you because we just faked our debts. Sorry, I just faked our debts.
Right.
So they take the identities of two guys. Apparently, they were on the FBI's most wanted list. But they didn't know that now. And then he lies and said, well, all right, I'm actually not an FBI agent. I just said that because I just, want to come up. That's the whole thing. It's just him kind of peacocking that, trying to play like he's this big shot, this badass, but he's not.
Yeah.
So now they have these new identities. They go to Puerto Rico. They're having fun and all that. And I'm just there like, this is the action comedy.
Right.
I only saw one explosion. That was like after the 20-minute mark. Where's the action? And literally after 40 minutes after this movie begins, that's when somebody actually fires a shot. And that's these guys, these criminals, who assume now that Adam Sandler and David Spade are the criminals that were presumed dead, but now they're still alive because here they are in this mansion banging old chicks and, going to clubs and stuff.
Right.
So big shootout take place and chase scene, and dude, the action is like this standard TV, made for TV action.
Yeah.
It's not like you could go in cinema and be amazed, like, wow, look at all this action. It's just shit you've seen on TV before. Half-assed. And then they run into Paula Patton, and her character, she was the widow of this guy who was involved with the criminals, and he got killed. And it's this whole kind of convoluted plot. about what's going on and this thing about a cure for cancer. I swear to God, a cure for cancer. And they try to twist it in such a way that, yeah, it affects one of the characters and is all emotional and stuff, but it just feels.
Yeah.
And, all right, first off, Paula Patton's character, and just basically the woman in this film.
Right.
The same sexist thing that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Dude, this movie is like living proof for this whole sexist vibe that Adam Sandler movies have. Like, the moment she comes in, you see the cleavage, and you could tell, like, you know, and like even from that moment, it's kind of like, well, you're trying to kind of sexualize this character here.
Right.
And then David Spade, of course, well, he's attracted by her, and then, you know, Adam Sandler just telling him, well, dude, you have to fuck her, Jay. You see how she looking? Dude, why don't fuck her, man? And, you know, it's all that kind of thing there, you know?
Right.
And then they try to twist her character, because, spoiler alert, she's one of the villains now, and then Adam Sandler has his ex-girlfriend who just want to fuck him, and then Adam Sandler's mother, she's senile, and then there's a moment near the end, guys, that literally will make you guys vomit. But I'll just spoil it one time. You literally see her topless.
Okay.
Sagging tits.
Who's that? Patton?
Adam Sandler's mother.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Is horrible. Horrible.
Whatever.
But yeah.
Moving on.
So yeah, overall story was just a mess. The pacing was off. Like I said, I had to wait 40 minutes before a literal action scene took place.
Yeah.
And they try to play it off like this buddy movie, action movie now.
Yeah.
But look, even like shows like True Lies and Lethal Weapon and
right,
you know,
yeah. How to do that?
You have that setup, so you know what is at stake. You know, all right, here are the bad guys. You know how dangerous the situation is,
right.
And then you could get into the characters and why you should care, but you don't care. David Spade comes off like this pathetic loser, and you want to kind of care for this guy, but, because you have Adam Sandler by the right, like this devil telling him, dude, fuck this girl, man. You know, beat man, go some balls, man. And then Adam Sandler just like he just don't give a fuck, He just kind of come off like. And I read about it, you know, like maybe, I think it happened with like movies like Blended, for example, which he shot in South Africa, where he would go to a country, like maybe on vacation, presumably, and then be like, well, all right, well, I'm in this country, let me just make a film. So presumably he was on vacation in Puerto Rico.
Make for work program.
Yeah, so he kind of comes off like, you see, come off like, he just seem like, he's not even acting. It's just like, well, I just half-assing it. I just here, I just playing the emotions because I'm Adam Sandler, I don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. So if I could give this show a rating, I would give this a 1 out of 5 stars.
No surprise.
Definitely a waste of time.
Yep.
If it's I know it's on Netflix and you know you don't have to spend money to go and watch it in the cinema, but don't even waste your time with this shit.
I don't tempt. Anyway, comedy movie I wanted to see, which was Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Right.
I wanted to see that as well. I heard it's quite funny. I am a big fan of Andy Samberg.
Yeah,
which is,
I'm a huge fan of mockumentaries, so especially musical
which is hopefully not Andy Samberg, Adam Sandler in the future, but Andy Samberg is a funny dude in my opinion. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the most part, love Lonely Island, and I heard I
love their albums too.
And I heard it's in the same vein as that. I know a couple of friends who hated it, but I expect to enjoy.
The soundtrack was fantastic as well.
Right.
The songs were
I was listening to some of it, but it wasn't particularly funny or engaging like his previous stuff. But whatever, I'll have to say it in the context of the movie, and then I might enjoy it more. Whatever.
Right, cool. So what are the
right? So we have to go on to
So enough of the bullshit. Let's get on to
something
actual...
Let's go from bullshit to mediocre.
Yes. So Angry Birds.
Yes. So Angry Birds came out a while. It came out a while now. So here's the thing. I'm pretty late to what I didn't think. I went to this movie blind. I only saw one trailer.
You saw one trailer. I saw about 3.
Nah, yeah, I only
saw...
saw...
one spoiled... No, right. Like the first one kind of like set up, okay, this guy is angry.
Right.
And the pig's coming through, and it's just the gags and the style of
humor.
But the third one was
I didn't know
what the story was about.
Right, so I didn't know what this movie was going to be about, and holy shit, the movie real political. It's...
What?
Right, so apparently... People debating, well, people on the non-politically correct people, there's a whole clique on the internet of people what you call the alt-right bunch. There are people who are anti-PC culture, anti-feminism, this. And apparently the movie is this big allegory for Muslim immigration in Europe. And in my head...
How you know... Right,
no,
how did you...
When you watch the movie, you'll see... No, here's the thing. I didn't know this. So I went into the movie and I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And the movie is about like Jason Sudeikis, sorry. His character, Red. His character is basically this angry dude, and he's the only angry dude in this.
He's sarcastic.
Right, he's the only angry dude in this. Basically, he's the aggressive guy in a passive aggressive world. The whole world is passive aggressive. It's about
the island of the
birds. It's about being nice. What these put in our face about being nice. You have to do counseling and anger management classes. This right. We live in that world, and yoga, this and everybody pretend to be nice, but not really that nice. And it's all about just suppressing their emotions and not being open about it. And then his character is about being just kind of telling the truth and calling things for what they are.
Yeah.
And he kind of alone. Nobody like him. You have to live outside of the town. Kind of pissed off. And they kind of don't want him living there. Anyway, the pigs show up. And
they just show up out of nowhere?
They kind of right. They come out of nowhere. They kind of just come on in a boat.
Yeah.
And the plan is to steal their plan. Well, they come and they pretending to be nice, and then everybody say, the pigs are victims. They'll call them out for what they are. That's the leaders of the bird people.
Okay.
And Red kind of see it.
People.
Right, yeah. And Red's attitude is that, no, we should ask questions and these kind of things. And basically, it's a big allegory for that. That's why I saw it as really Muslim immigration in Europe.
Right.
That's how I saw it. And apparently, that was the narrative since the trailer came out. Like, that was a huge narrative since January, apparently. So I just check out the internet. That's what people see. It is a bit of an overstretched metaphor. A little bit. So it has some people who see it carry the argument by saying, well, the three main characters is the German flag colors.
Lord.
But then I kind of saw where it was coming from. And then, well, in the big story is the ending. It had a lot of jokes, a lot of great jokes. Judge Gad was surprisingly funny, even though I hated him before in other stuff.
In Pixels.
But he is surprisingly funny. He's this bird he's a yellow bird who's moved fast about. They have the big black bird who explodes, and then they have the big red bird who's the big version of red. In the game, apparently, I've only played one version of this game, and it's a rip-off of another game, but this is the game that ended up making money.
Wait, not that Flappy Bird.
No, not Flappy Bird. What's the name? Cannon. It was some Cannon fodder game. It was a crappy Flash game back in the days.
Okay.
And then Angry Birds just take it and market it and make $1 billion.
Oh, I always thought that Angry Birds was something original.
No, it's not. No, the game itself is not original. What it did was it took an idea that's free. They took the idea of cannon, you're shooting cannons, and then you make points. And they decided to put this ridiculous narrative. But I'm surprised that the animation company decided to make this thing because it's a Finnish company or something like that.
Who created it?
What is Roxio? I forget the company name.
Roxio,
right.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that this was so political. This was like a really political movie. Like you could see where they're coming from with the whole, the pigs is Muslim. Basically, the pigs is Muslim immigration. It's Muslims. They look Muslim. Here's the kicker though. Sean Penn is in the movie. So I was thinking, So if I want to get political here, it's like Sean Penn is not like the most leftist guy. So why would he be part of this project that clearly is not politically correct?
Yeah.
Whatever. The movie was kind of fun. It had a lot of jokes. I thought Jason Sudeikis' voice acting was quite good. There's a really funny bit with an eagle. And the eagle is so legendary, and there's a whole backstory, and you learn about him.
Right.
And again, I think that was the allegory for America.
Right.
What the character is supposed to be. He old and he does kind of bullshitting, but he will still help out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But how do you incorporate like the the actual game itself?
Right. The last act of the last act of the movie is just them. The pigs stole the eggs, and they had to go back and get the eggs, and they basically had to figure out a way to launch themselves.
Right, from point A to point B.
Right, to get into and invade and get through, and they basically just did that, and they did, and it was fun.
And they had the same sound effects like woohoo.
Right, yeah, they do the same kind of thing, and but they had the same properties. Okay. So they had one funny bit with the boomerang bird. So the guy fling and he missed and come straight back, and it was useless.
Right.
And he was an older bird, so it's like, oh, okay, that's what they do with that. Again, because I'm largely unfamiliar with the game, I only played the game like once or twice.
Oh,
I didn't.
Serious?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only played like the original game.
No, the game. Right. Exactly. The game is super popular, and I get why.
Yeah. But the spin-offs never cared for them.
Whatever. Point is, the game make a ton of cash. They use this cash to make this movie.
Yeah.
And they decide. To me, I find, oh gosh, what's this character name? Boy, who played the pig? Was he being pig? Can't remember the character name. But basically, he has beard. If you watch his beard, the beard look like a Muslim beard.
Oh my goodness! True to know. Yeah,
no, listen,
it does.
And I get the feeling
that
it was just to stick it to people who's like Muslim fundamentalists or whoever it is, because he's a pig.
Yeah.
But he's a Muslim and he have explosives in the background, and you couldn't help but not.
It's the irony about
even though it might be an overstretched metaphor, you couldn't really saw what people talking about with this. You couldn't help but think about what it is they were saying with respect to the Muslim immigration thing, because the whole point is just not letting people into your culture, and much like with Zootopia, it was kind of showing the dark side, if not downright the downside of not outright failure of political correctness in the modern sense.
Right.
That's where the film was trying to say is that no, that European culture should be a little angry and reactive a little bit at least, not just embrace every culture and have you be taken advantage of. That's what I saw.
Okay.
That's what I saw in terms of the subtext. To me, it was kind of in your face and blatant. If you don't want to see that, you don't have to see that, but I saw that.
Right. What about the mediocrity of the film? Like what was bad about it?
It wasn't immediate. It just wasn't excellent. I mean, it was just good. It was kind of funny. It wasn't. The jokes landed, some of them.
Yeah.
I'll say when they started to get into the whole game part of it, that is when it stopped being clever. It was like, oh, they're just referencing the game. Okay. And moving on.
Yeah, and
it wasn't particularly funny or clever. And it's only the beginning, like the first half. Yeah. Was genuinely clever and hilarious, I thought, in terms of, especially Josh Gad's character, because there's a bit with him doing the Quicksilver thing, where he's moving super fast and interfering with stuff, and they do a scene later with that, which was really, really funny. Okay. Of how the character's kind of an idiot, but at the same time, he's so useful because he's so fast now. Yeah, that's it.
Right, so rating.
Give it a high CC8. What going in theaters to see? Quite funny, with your time.
Animation, of course, on point.
On point, yes. Yeah, animation, the feathers look great, all that stuff. I didn't really worry about the technical stuff because it wasn't particularly brilliant. Kind of late to be given these recommendations because it came out so long. But
it's still in theaters. It's still showing. No, we didn't.
Okay, right.
Yeah. But I'll say this much, right? Cause like I said, I haven't seen it. Right. But the first, honestly, I didn't really know what to expect with this movie. I saw the first trailer and it was really focused a lot on Red and him dealing with the pigs being here. But it's like I said. There's another trailer that showed a little bit more. I know they showed the eagle,
right?
And just how much of a contradiction he is.
Right, that's the whole point. The eagle, again, if you want to see the political metaphor, it's America. It's America, but it's America, and he kind of boasting. Even though he has a good history, it's him being largely overinflated. Yeah, it's an overinflated narrative, which is America. Kind of.
And then the final trailer, I think there were 3 trailers overall. The final trailer that I saw on big screen is when you actually saw, okay, now they're doing what you expect in the games where they're flinging the birds or using the kind of thing.
Right.
I was like, oh, so they actually did that.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to see that in the trailer. I would have been pleasantly surprised to see it here, but
not really.
They spoiled it for me.
Right. I went into this blind. And it was only when me just looking up to see what if other people saw this. Apparently, the narrative was there since January, since the first trailer, or whenever the trailers came out.
But I mean, does it? All right, but overall, does it work like a clever political satire, or is it?
That's what it is. It does that. It's kind of taking the piss out of political correctness a little bit, but you really get the sense of them making a genuine tale, and the whole idea of let's just put it as Europe need to be angry. And if because it's kind of the running narrative right now, in the politics is that if Europeans have any reaction, that means they're automatically Nazis or something like that. That whole thing, though. Yeah. So, whatever. I didn't. Some people embrace it way more than other people, but I really got what people were seeing. When it came to that whole political metaphor, I got it.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right. So moving along to another show that I actually wanted to see it on the day that I saw Warcraft, but unfortunately didn't. Yes. Had a lot of things came up, but anyway, I didn't get around to seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Right.
And before I get to review, I'll just say this much. Like I said in my last review, I really didn't like the first one at all.
Right.
Maybe if I look at it again, I probably might like it a little bit more, but otherwise, the first time I saw it, hated it.
Right.
I hated the character designs, especially with Splinter. Right. Thought he looked ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't like how Shredder was like a robot.
Right.
And I thought that it took itself way too seriously. It was trying to be all dark and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really in the third act when you realize, well, oh shit, it's a movie about teenage turtles fighting. Yeah. Let's have fun, damn it.
Right.
And that's when they actually had fun.
Yeah, this one I would argue, here's my attitude with stuff like this at this point. A, are way too old to care. And
for real.
B, this is not my stuff, but here's my attitude. I suppose underthinking it is better than overthinking it. That's my attitude towards it. That's what this one did. It did as underthink it. They didn't worry. They make it dumb. They didn't worry to impress you too much with it. And I had some fun, but here's the problem. Some actors were terrible in this. Stephen Amell was fucking terrible in this.
So I've heard.
Jeez, wait. That man, like I don't know what he was planning to do with him. I don't know what he's planning to do, but I get a feeling that because the Casey Jones character is Arrow. It's the same character.
Yeah.
It's a street vigilante being
Yeah.
badass and trying to be badass all the time. That is what he was in the cartoons. That is what he was in the original movie. You know, he's trying to be a badass, and I get the feeling that they say, all right, they want him to play Arrow, and he say like he as an actor say, look, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I gotta just do my own thing and have fun. F you. And the director said, all right, whatever, moving on. And that's exactly what happened. He was horrible in this. He just tried to tell those jokes and be an idiot. Didn't work. He tried and it was kind of similar to the old Casey. But I don't know if you remember, there's a really cool short film with Casey Jones. It starts in an ice rink, in a hockey rink. And look it up. You could find
It's
it.
a fan
Film.
Yeah.
That's how you should have done Casey Jones. Make it a little kind of serious, not too serious, but you get why, you know.
He's that way.
He's that way, and then but because but he's still a human and he in over his head. Yeah. This one they give him his arc where he was like a corrections officer, but he's trying to be a detective. Like, no, don't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was dumb. Whatever.
Yeah, but
again, too old to care.
what about April O'Neil?
Right, she was decent.
It's Megan Fox.
Same thing. Don't really care. Come and go on. They give she a little scene where she had to have some short skills to steal some evidence.
Of course, because
the two people,
men want to see.
Right. Whatever. Moving on. Don't care. The two people actually I was impressed by was Tyler Perry. Who really they totally embraced the role and enjoyed themselves, and he totally.
Well, I'm actually not surprised he would do that.
Right.
It actually looked like he was going to do that.
He enjoyed himself, and he enjoyed himself being there, and you got a good energy from him.
Just like Gone Gill, actually.
Right.
Even in Gone Gill, you could tell he
wants to be there.
He was privileged to be there.
Right. And Gary Anthony Williams. I didn't expect him to enjoy his presence so much. He was like the improvement of the movie. And this is before and after his transformation. Get the character, well, he plays
Bebop.
Bebop, okay. Right. And, well, they switch races because in the original cartoon, Rocksteady was the black guy and Bebop was the white guy.
Right.
And then they switch it. They say, okay, so this time. And then they had the guy, I think it's a wrestler, MMA fighter. Sheamus, right.
Yeah, this Irish-born wrestler.
Right. The two of them together were great. Funny. It worked. It was, again, still stupid dumbness. Yeah. It was dumb, but it had an energy. There was an energy I didn't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Better than the rest of the movie. This guy Will Arnett didn't need to be there, but whatever. He didn't
need to be in the first one. But
yeah,
he was there.
Because he plays a character in the comic. That's a character in the original story, which is Vernon. He was in the cartoon as well.
All right.
This the camera guy now.
Oh, right. Yes.
It's a character.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
Just a Whoopi was there, by the way, or she?
No, she was not in this movie. They had who was a female in this one? This older woman who was the police captain or something like that.
Not Laura something.
Laura Linney.
Laura
Linney. Holy crap, she was terrible in this too. She was horrible in this. I was like, why are you in this movie?
What did she do? What's her character?
She was a police captain or police chief or something like that, or like a FBI something. Basically a high-ranking hard ass, giving boss giving orders and
what are you doing?
Right, that stuff. And she just did not work in this. She wasn't funny. She was trying to kind of
be funny.
Yeah. They tried to give her some lines and it just didn't work. She's supposed to be the straight character, yeah, but it just didn't work. What she tried to do, it didn't work.
Okay.
Totally out of place. Not funny.
Right.
The Turtles themselves.
Yeah, what about the Turtles themselves?
Everybody's kind of playing the roles. They had a nice little arc with Donnie, Leo, and Raph. And, really, Raph and Leo button heads again. And it's the whole narrative of, well, they had the chance to turn to humans.
Yeah.
And they tried to do this. But they didn't become humans. They just did a thing, and they had a chance to do it. And then, well, Raph like, no, we're not going to do it. And he's the one who made the choice. Whatever.
Yeah, because we're Ninja Turtles.
Whatever. But the whole point is that I thought they would have made the effort of actually getting to see them as humans for a period of time. Like, I thought they would have done that.
Come to think of it, that actually would be pretty interesting.
Right. I thought they were going to do that, and then they reject it. And then, like, some of them want to stay human, and then the others. And I thought they would have given something with Mikey, because Mikey's the person who wanted to be part of the world most.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. Whatever. They hide it, and I thought they would have made more drama out of it. Whatever. That would have been overthinking it. And as I said, if you attempted to do that and fail, it would have been worse. So they just avoided it entirely.
Right.
They just kind of barely gloss it and give it some lip service, and then move on.
Okay.
Action sequences.
Yeah, well, before you get to action, what was the story about?
Story is, okay, so this time, what happened is that Shredder, they need to break out Shredder. Shredder need to transport him. Being transported. And what happens is that somebody, Baxter Stockman, working for Krang, from another dimension, whatever, that was in the comic.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't in the comic, it was in the cartoon, whatever. Right. It's an old character. They decide to break out Shredder because Shredder was working for them. And he used some dimensional portal stuff to move on.
Interesting.
And escape. He basically teleport out. And then he went to Krang in the next dimension and said, look, all right, work for me. Help me out, build this portal. Find some parts for this thing to build a bigger portal so my ship could come through.
Yeah.
Basically, the Technodrome, or the Technodrome is this big machine ship.
I remember from the cartoon.
That's from the cartoon, right. And that's the plan. So they just had to find the parts. So they had to find one part. They had one part already. Mm-hmm. They had to find a part in a museum. And then they had to go South America to find a third part. So that was a whole action sequence in South America.
Hence the rivers and the
Right,
plains.
that's what the scene was. Yeah. It was a surprisingly good action sequence. Again, still model computer CGI mess. But again, I just went in with the lowest standard and then enjoyed. Like, they have to do that. You have to do that
well,
with this, with shit like this.
Exactly.
Because what'll happen if you do that, if you're going with any effort like what you do with Batman v Superman, you'll have Batman v Superman, where you'll just be a waste of your time and you'll just be pissed off.
Again with
look, if you give a fuck, you have to give a fuck. That is the problem. Though when people give a fuck and you don't give a fuck, that is the biggest disaster. Either don't give a shit and I don't give a shit, so we can just have fun.
Yeah, so it's like crunk music is like Lil Jon, you know?
Right.
If he doesn't give a fuck,
don't
give a fuck.
Exactly. Do go in, and that's what you have to do with this stuff. And that's my attitude. I had fun. Right, and basically...
Well, action sequences, right?
Action sequences. Yeah. Only one I really genuinely enjoyed. This was the scene in South America. Right. That was kind of badass, what they did with that. They had the turtles swimming and, they're moving about. You get a sense of how the turtles could fight and move. And they had a good action sequence with the tank and the dodgy tank and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And people enjoyed it. People had fun. I went with a bunch of kids. That's the screening I went to. It had a bunch of kids.
The kids were like, ah!
Right, yeah. And the kids kind of enjoyed it. Some kids, it had one laugh out loud moment for me personally, where you had this one, like the plot was doing a thing. And it was a stupid, I forget what it was. It was a stupid plot thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, just the characters being idiots. And it had this one little boy, like you could tell this boy just he brain working. And he like, he just yelled out loud, like, this don't make no sense. This is real stupid. The boy can't be older than 8. And I was like, yes, the future is in good hands if you have kids like this who could see this bullshit and see through it. I was like, cool.
Yeah, props to that kid, though.
Great.
I don't think he'll be listening to this, but yo.
Right. That poor smile on my face. So, whatever. And whatever. The movie had an action sequence. Here's the big thing I was disappointed with. They bring in Shredder, and then Shredder was like X'd out in the story. Like, he wasn't killed, but he was like captured and he was frozen. So he didn't fight in the end. And the big fight was against Krang only.
Okay.
Another thing I missed was they didn't do Krang's original voice on the cartoon. That is a classic villain voice.
Yeah.
They could have gone with that. They should have done that. We didn't get that. It was this other guy. I forget who the voice actor is. But the James Avery. Not James Avery. Who was the voice of Krang originally? I forget. James Avery was Shredder.
Yeah, James Avery was Shredder, but I can't remember who did the Krang voice.
Another thing too I hated was, and this is another thing I really hate about these movies, from since Transformers days, is the problem. You'll have a whole sequence of animation just to do a joke. The joke not funny. It's utterly pointless. And it's just a colossal waste of money and time for the sake of the plot. And it's not even for the sake of the plot. I'm going to give the example.
You mean like what? Like a gag then? No?
Right, it's just a gag. In Transformers, the second one, Revenge of the Fallen, they had a bit where the robot was humping the girl leg.
Oh yeah, I
as a joke.
That
and
scene.
in my head, I was asking the question, how long does take to animate? How much this cost? How much this thing? Utterly pointless scene.
Yeah.
They had an exact same moment like this where Krang, for some reason, can't fit in the suit. Remember, it's a suit. It's a kind of semi-intelligent kind of suit, and it's him in the thing. In the comic, it's him inside the suit. He could go into it relatively easily and fit it.
Uh-huh.
In this, he can't fit into it. So it's this brain creature, and the suit have to like stuff him in.
Oh,
and it's like,
so it's this moment of him trying
barely getting, and it basically punching him in, and that's the joke. It's him just being punched. And I was like, this can't be cheap. This can't be easy to do. To just pull off this animation because all this slime and all this little thing popping about, and it's like, how much it costs? And in the story, you would have just put him in the suit. That's it. Just put him in the thing. He fits perfectly. And move on. That I don't know. That's something to really piss me off because it's a colossal waste of cash. That alone, I sure cost like $2 million or something like that. I sure that alone cost $2 million US just to do that scene. I sure that or something on that level. Where it just costs a ton of cash just doing that scene.
Right.
And it's these I call it the make for work program moments where it's just this utterly pointless scene that just a hire animator just to do. Instead of doing something more interesting with your action and spending all that resources and energy on that part.
Yeah, make it look good.
They just waste their time on that shit. That does drive me up a wall every damn time. Whatever. Moving on. Final action sequence was them fighting Krang. Krang was doing all this Krang and stuff.
Right.
So he have an arm and he spinning about and they fight him and then they had to stop. They basically stopped the Tetris room from being made. Yeah. It was this like gravity thing, so they reprogram it and move it and then it gone back into the portal.
And from what I've heard, once again, just like in the last film, it was on top of a high-rise sky.
No, it was in the sky.
Oh, it was in the sky.
Okay. It was floating, or they had to float and it had to build up. It was a big roof, but it was a big platform essentially.
All right.
So it was no different from being on a skyscraper.
Yeah.
It is the same thing. Same bullshit.
Same bullshit.
Same bullshit. Portal or whatever, laser going up in the air. That nonsense. Yeah. And was disappointed. I really wanted them to do the Super Shredder from the video games. So I thought we was going to get that.
And we had something like that in Secret of the Ooze, right, Pat?
Right.
They bring it a little bit.
But my thing with Super Shredder is I wanted the Super Shredder to be the Super Shredder from the games, where he teleporting and he's sending out lightning or something like that. So I thought we was going to get Krang technology and do stuff like that. Shredder doesn't get an action sequence in this. Not really. So I was like, there's a waste of time. Whatever.
Yeah, but all right, from what I saw in the trailers and stuff, and from what you told me, tons of fan service.
Right.
That's why Casey Jones
right.
there.
That's
why
they do. Yeah. No, but it had a
no.
bunch of stuff in it in the background. Like, again, only because of Bebop from Rocksteady and Baxter Stockman. The only thing I thought they would have done with Baxter Stockman is I thought he would have gotten the mutation as well, so he'd have turned to the fly. They didn't do that. There's no reference to him being a fly in this at all. I thought they would have probably have a little side gag or line of him referencing. Is this for the fans, kind of? Because they have like a Super Nintendo controller somewhere, and I think somebody's playing like the Turtles in Time game in the background, maybe.
Oh, classic.
I swear I see it. My thing is that I find they should follow the law of that law, where you do a story. They might do the Turtles in Time plot line, but that's exactly like how they do the original movies do.
Exactly.
Same story.
Miserably.
And all cheered up fails, so it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Score.
Yeah. What's your rating, man?
CC8. Straight CC8.
No high, no low.
No low, straight CC8. It was kind of fun going with everything. I'll be confession, I had a couple beers going in, so that was it.
Just like, fuck it,
I had to see it, and I was like, look, whatever. It was better than the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate the first one. Again, that was the next movie that I just went in. Whatever. Fuck it. Enjoy it.
But it's more fun, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was more fun. And it's only because of Gary Anthony Williams. Seriously, this guy needs to get his Uncle Ruckus movie or something. Because Gary Anthony Williams is a treasure.
You're supposed to get one for ages.
For ages. And he could do something with it, man. Shit, you know? He is a funny dude. He's a funny dude. He's very underrated. I don't know what happened to him because he's not a black comedian in that sense now. He's a black guy who could have been his style of comedy could be anywhere. It's not like a black comedy thing.
Yeah.
And I remember you remember the blue comedy tour? Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
I remember bits of it on Comedy Central.
Right.
I think it was like a documentary.
It had a documentary based on it.
Right.
But it was a series. It's Jeff Foxworthy,
Larry the Cable Guy,
Bill Engvall, and what was the fourth guy? And the funniest guy. Gosh, I forget his name.
The fourth guy. The funniest guy that we can't remember.
He's the funniest dude, but he's the drunk one. He's the one who's be drunk, and he's the older kind of playboy type, and he kind of overweight. And right. It'll come to me. Anyway. He was part of the show, the sketch show, when they did the Blue Comedy Tour, the sketch show. And he was the only black guy there. And a lot of people say he was just a token black guy, and they kind of insult him and talk shit about him. And I was like, nah, but he's funny though. And he was the funniest person there in the sketches. All the sketches, he was the person who had the most energy. Look, Gary Anthony Williams need to get his break, man. He's a guy that underrated, underutilized, and I thought he gave a great energy to Turtles, and it was kind of wasted and squandered in this. Yeah. Unfortunately, Tyler Perry was okay, funny.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. That's good.
That's why I defend it a little bit, because it's only because people had fun. That's why I don't mind. People had fun, and especially Williams and Perry, they had fun and they made it work.
Yeah.
They didn't take this out too seriously. Script was dumb. Whatever.
Yeah.
CC it. Moving on.
Right. So now we're going to talk about the long-awaited. The video game movie to end all video game movies. Forget Mortal Kombat, guys. Yeah. This is
Silent
Warcraft. Doom? What's Doom?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Warcraft.
What should I say about this?
All right. Well. All right. Let me start off. Right. So I would admit that I never played a Warcraft game before.
Me too.
I played
okay.
StarCraft.
No,
before,
here's my thing. So so let's just a quick preamble. Before, just not the video, but just the franchise and Blizzard. Blizzard clearly want to do they get a Marvel on. They want to do their Marvel thing. By
the way, you saw the intro that they did their logo.
Yeah, badass.
That was badass, yeah, but it was real Marvel-ish.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Shots and everything.
Yeah, it's them it's them, Blizzard gonna get a Marvel on. They say, okay, we're gonna control our own franchises. And we're gonna make our own games. Now, I don't expect a united Blizzard universe. That's not gonna happen, right? Because the stories of the three main games, three most popular games that Blizzard are familiar with, which is the Warcraft universe, StarCraft universe, and the Diablo universe, right? All three franchises are separate, and it'll be unwise to link them, especially if you might want to link Diablo and.
Why link them in the first place? That's
right,
dumb.
but no, you might be able, you might want to, because they might for expediency now.
Yeah.
In my opinion, now out of the three, back if you were a PC gamer, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you are more than likely playing one of those three games.
Yeah.
Right? You're playing Warcraft, StarCraft, or Diablo.
I was playing StarCraft.
Right, I was playing Diablo. I was never into Warcraft. I have a cursory knowledge of Warcraft at best. You know who Troll is, you know who Medivh was, you know these characters. You know who the orcs are, you know who the
Yeah, you have an idea what the
you know what the
world
fell
and
is,
stuff,
you know these things, you know the general, you don't know stuff in depth. But you just from being merely exposed by Warcraft dudes, you pick it up in conversation and you kind of piece together the narrative.
Yeah.
It's the Lord of the Rings Lord of the Rings fantasy universe slash
put in the game form.
Right. It's Dungeons and Dragons, their version.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's that. By the way, I said I had a slip of the tongue of Final Fantasy, but there is a reference to Final Fantasy in this. I'm going to talk about that.
All right. I would like to hear what that is.
Right. So my personal thing is that if it was up to me, like if I'm a Diablo fan, I would want to see a Diablo movie. To me, the first Diablo was a great mystery, great mystery story, and it had a lot of action coming out here, and it was badass. But Warcraft is the most popular franchise of all.
Yeah.
So you have to do a Warcraft movie.
And it has the coolest title, by the way. When you think about it, Warcraft.
No, it's just
something
Warcraft.
about it.
Yeah, it's just cool. Here's the problem with this movie, Ad. This personally, now here's the thing. This movie did not work.
No, it did not.
Did not work.
It did not.
Didn't hate it. Really root for it. It is an incredibly noble failure. Incredibly noble.
They try a lot, but I will get into that.
You have the filmmaker is a super fan, is the son of guy who...
Yeah, the late great David Bowie, rest in peace.
Ziggy Stardust himself. Right. Duncan Jones.
And that would be Duncan Jones.
Duncan Jones.
This is his,
in my opinion, is a very good filmmaker.
Yeah. He made 2 films prior to this, which was Moon, came out in 2009, and I finally sat down and watched Moon.
Yeah, see it?
It was... Yeah.
Wow.
Great. Very thought-provoking as well.
No,
too.
great script.
Yeah, went in blind, didn't expect things.
Yeah, smart script.
I was like, wow.
Work.
I saw Source Code.
Source Code, right.
was very entertaining.
Source Code was...
awesome.
Right, is what I call... I put Source Code in the list of what I call Outer Limits movies. It's just a script. It's an extended episode of Outer Limits. It had a couple things in Source Code that didn't make sense to me, but it's one of those, you have to interpret science in a certain way for it to accept it.
Yeah.
Whatever. You could tell, a lot of people make the argument, and I heard this argument that it's smothered to death, the movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But what I heard also is that it had kind of the same problem Batman v Superman had, which is, from what I understand, 40 minutes was cut out of this. So this theatrical
I didn't know, but it felt like there were a lot of things that were taken out.
And another attitude is that it made the mistake that Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, avoided, which is you either embrace your old story or you keep that shit down to 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that is what they should have done with this.
It's a good thing to bring up that, because recently, actually, I did this intentionally before Warcraft came, but before I saw Warcraft, I rewatched the Lord of the Rings extended DVD.
This is the comparison.
Because I have it on Blu-ray, so I finally watched that.
A whole weekend. We could get into this argument of if it's fair to compare it to Lord of the Rings. I think it is fair, personally.
But one thing, like I was watching the behind the scenes, and what they said is that even before they went into production, before they even wrote a script, so that was Peter Jackson and his wife, Fran Walsh. Yeah. They were working on the script, and they knew the story as well. They read it from from when they were young.
Right.
But the idea is that we have to tell this story about Frodo and his mission.
Right.
But how do you introduce audiences to the world of Middle Earth? And that's how they came up. Well, I think they got in touch with another writer, and what she did, she broke down the main points, which was, okay, the ring was created, and some rings were given to these people and whatnot, and they compressed that down to like this opening montage. It's like about 5 minutes roughly in the film, and that pretty much sets up the whole story. You understand?
And even if
powerful the ring is and all that.
And here's the thing: I was as familiar with Lord of the Rings at the time, as I am with Warcraft now. So it totally worked for me then, and it didn't work for me this time, because if they decide to do the 5 to 10 minute thing with this, that would have worked.
Yeah,
that's what they should have done.
And they should have done. But in this case, we just got this this
a whole story
sequence. No, well, this opening sequence here that looked good.
Yeah.
I saw what you're trying to do, but
but
what does that say in the long run?
Nothing connected.
It doesn't establish
right.
anything.
Oh, by the way, also right. What I remember I was say why Final Fantasy connected because this movie reminded me of I remember Advent Children.
Yes, which I enjoyed actually a lot more than Spirits Within.
Right. Yeah, but Advent Children is another story that didn't connect. You know, from the large.
No, after a while, after watching, I didn't even care about story. I was just wowed by the music,
and the actions, and right, exact same thing. Tech listen, the tech in this movie was fantastic. I did not expect it to look this good. Yeah, because the trailer looked unfinished. It looked kind of crappy. You know, the CG was like, I'm rooting for this, but this ain't looking too hot. Looking like a video game cutscene.
Yeah, it does.
But when
the movie itself,
when you see the final product, is like, they finished. And you know, here's the thing. Again, I've become so cynical from Hollywood. Usually, when you see a final product in the trailer, it's like, well, they ain't gonna do nothing with this. They ain't gonna do nothing with this. You're gonna get this half-ass kind of non-rendered version. They don't do that. They run that through the computers before we see this, boy. Yeah, the thing looked damn good.
Visually spectacular.
That thing looked damn good.
From the set designs.
Yes.
Even right down to the construction. That's like in the interiors, the exteriors.
What I liked about it,
orcs too.
Right, and the animation. So I again because I'm familiar with enough Warcraft footage and gameplay footage, they had a really funny bit with the wolves. You see how the wolves was running kind of strange. I get the feeling that was intentional. They didn't want the wolves running too realistically. They were running like how they run in the game. Because it felt like the wolves running the game.
Oh, okay.
I was
kind of wondering why.
They're running kind of weird and they're looking a little elongated. Yeah. I get the feeling it was like that was intentional. Like they're running just like in the game because they had that whole sequence of the wolves in the first action sequence. Right. Where they first encountered the orcs. Right. That was great.
That skirmish, right?
Right. The only part of the movie I genuinely thought was a genuinely good moment was the opening sequence with this guy and his wife when she was pregnant and they lying down and they were talking and laughing.
And that's one thing that I really liked about about
they did the orc stuff great. Orc designs, character designs look great. Everybody looking a little different, little thing. This guy have crane rows, this guy have this guy have that. This guy have, little bones on the side.
Yeah,
every orc looked differently.
I loved how they did that.
Every orc looked differently.
Yeah.
The actual fighting and action itself looked great.
Yeah.
Badass.
And especially like when the orcs fighting, like they use hammers and stuff.
The magic.
When they threw down
the magic.
real bone crunch and shit.
They had who is this guy? Clancy Brown was one of the badass orcs. He was Black Hand.
Okay.
Awesome.
I saw his name in the end credits, but I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, he was Black Hand. Yeah. Great. They had a good cast.
Yeah, I was surprised that the wizard Golden was played by Daniel Wu.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What? Okay.
Yeah, badass.
Yeah. And props to Dorotan. That's the main orc.
Right.
Chieftain.
He
Loved
is
his character.
Where's our boy name, boy?
Not Travis.
No.
Not Travis from Toby Kebbell.
Toby Kebbell, right.
Yes.
He was Koba from
Dawn of the Planet.
Yes.
It's fantastic movie, by the way, guys.
He in my opinion is like the new Andy Serkis. He's like the second Andy Serkis type figure where a person could be a really good actor with motion cap.
Yeah.
Right.
I was kind of thinking of it like an understudy, but nah.
Nah. He's his own thing.
That's an injustice.
No, he's the own thing. Toby Kebbell up there, man. And well, they had some Dominic Cooper was good in this.
Yeah, he was
pretty good.
He was good.
Gamel, Travis, what's his name?
Travis Fimmel.
Right.
Yeah.
He is. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know the actor. I barely knew the actor because I knew him from Vikings.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Never watched. I never watched it. I know the show is pretty good and a lot of people like it, so he's a big star.
Yeah, but to me,
he was. If I remember correctly, he was in a Tarzan show back in the days. There's a Tarzan TV series back in the days.
It's not talking about the 90s one, right?
It's a while back. He was young.
Okay. It probably was that, but all right, like character-wise.
Right, I just want to run through the characters. Paula Patton, good. Thought she was pretty good.
She was alright.
I thought she was okay.
I didn't like. Well, I mean, she was there, but I just find like,
no. Here's a problem because of the editing. She couldn't get the role because I get the feeling that she's supposed to be the star. They should have
the main focus of this.
Right, I'm more of an arc with her because she's supposed to be. In the game, if I remember correctly, the character's supposed to be half human, but the way how they set up the timeline, she's not half human at all or no human. She's orc, and then the same blue race you saw in the beginning. I don't know the name of that race.
Oh, but I was on the impression that she was half human, half orc.
No, she was half the blue race. You remember that blue race in the beginning that they used to open the portal?
Right.
I think she's half that and orc. The way how they put it, she's not human at all. Yeah. Or they might bring that in later.
Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah, but that's one problem.
From what I understand, anyway, I don't know enough to know how much it changed or if it could fit that narrative in, but she's not human at all. from what I understand.
All right, okay.
You could probably bring in a narrative extra and say, oh no, she is human, and this is because in this universe, humans and orcs don't know each other at all.
Right.
There's no reference to them at all. It's like, oh, they might have it, because the only person who know about orcs would be Medivh.
Yeah, the wizard.
Wizard, pretty good. Thought he was good in this. Then he had the little understudy mage guy. He was good in this too.
I find he had a lot more screen time, like a little too much screen time for his character, but he was okay. He was okay.
The big problem with this is that they didn't establish anything in this.
Exactly.
Nothing.
And
so they just jump into stuff and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to know you. All right.
Yeah, but that's the main problem that I had with this show. Like I said, I never played any Warcraft games. I didn't know any of the characters. I just I just know, okay, this is an orc because it looks like an orc, and this is a human character, whatever. Right. But all right, just like with Lord of the Rings, you didn't know who Frodo was, you didn't know who Gandalf was, but they set it up that you understand who these characters are, what their motivations are. And this one is like, all right, I'm supposed to know who Dorotan is. I'm supposed to know who Medivh is.
Gul'dan,
and Gul'dan, all these characters, but I'm supposed to know. But I never played the game, so how would I know? But they didn't set them up properly. And this whole threat that, okay, yes, orcs coming into your world and now you have to defend, but what's really at stake here?
Right.
And yes, there's a big problem with it. I found myself caring more about the orc characters. By far. Than the humans.
Yeah.
And is it just me, you could get into it, is it just me that, I don't know, every time the humans talk, like when they coming up with battle plans or what we got to do, I didn't understand a single thing they were saying. I was just
in the game. It's a game thing.
What? I don't understand what
all that is a game. It's just game jargon. So it's stuff, this place
you have to
and
go into this
storm
realm and storm his.
Right. That's just the jargon. That's just jargon. You just need to know that. But that's facts. That's facts. Because even if, as I said, I get the feeling that even if I knew these facts and I knew what this is in the game and how to look for and what blah, 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 I still want to enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Because
and I think it's something about the delivery of the voices.
Right. The story, but the thing is, the story has to flow.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
It
did not
flow. Scene to scene.
Bad editing. I'm gonna put this out there. I think it have a secret. You see how it had a writer's strike some odd 8 years ago?
Yeah.
I think they have a secret editor strike going on right now. Seriously, it have too many movies with either straight up bad or completely amateurish editing going on right now. I don't know what's going on.
So what they do this? What they hiring like university students?
Yeah, or something. They just hiring scabs. And like all these professional editors just don't give a fuck anymore, and say, look, you ain't gonna get all your movies gonna be shit. Like they didn't think they didn't need editors, whatever. This. Here's the thing. As I said, you don't do one or two things.
Before you get to editing, a good thing you mentioned editing. Are you familiar with a guy called Paul Hirsch?
Barely. Like, name something familiar.
All right. In terms of editing, this guy is a veteran.
Right.
This man did the editing for Star Wars. He won the Academy Award for it.
Right.
He edited Ghost Protocol. Empire Strikes Back. A lot of famous movies. He is the editor in this movie. I saw that name. I was like,
that's something ridiculous.
How the fuck?
Yeah.
Paul Hirsch, you did this?
Yeah.
Really?
No, as I said, what I heard, I think happened is that it hacked to the bone, though. Mm-hmm. The movie's hacked to the bone in the sense that you either take the 5 to 10 minute thing or you stretch out your story and tell that story. 40 minutes is a lot of time.
Yeah.
That is a lot of time.
Exactly. So like the transitions, transitions in
nothing cut together.
So maybe he is not the one to blame for this,
right?
But something happened.
Some kind of studio interview, something, whatever. I get a feeling that they probably didn't want to keep people in theaters too long, so that's a big factor.
Yeah.
But whatever, when the Blu-ray come out, much like with Batman v Superman, we had to wait for a Blu-ray to see a proper version. But as is, this movie suffers severely. It doesn't work. It doesn't gel together very well. It didn't work for me. I liked it. I rooted for it because there's a lot. It got a lot right. A lot of the action looked badass.
Yeah.
Who was the character? Who was Dorotan's friend? Who had the hammer? Who's just getting on real bad with the hammer? The bald-head one. He's the main character. I can't remember
his name. I can't remember. But I know you're talking about. He's like the guy who kind of sides with Gul'dan, and then he kind of opposes him and thing here.
Right.
He's the unsure one.
Right. He's supposed to be the real, he's the character I'm familiar with. So I'm like, oh, cool. They had him, and I was familiar with him.
All right. What you thought about how his character was utilized?
It was good.
Right.
It's not bad. So, the main story is about Troll, baby Troll, right? He's just a baby in this. You understand why his character is. He's basically the anchor baby. Baby Moses, anchor baby.
Yeah.
Mix up everything. And then they edited it with him. So that was the last scene with him in it.
Good thing to bring up that, but continue. Yeah.
And I thought the story should have been that. The story should have been his arc.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And even before you see the word Warcraft on the screen, they kind of set up like, all right, the story is going to be about this child.
Yeah.
But no, we see this whole war between humans
and characters
orcs
sacrifice
and
himself and John
yeah,
Cooper
yeah,
character
that
had to
whole
die.
thing with
Dominic
well, we
Cooper.
wouldn't say who, but
Yeah, that
dude,
work.
honestly, between you and me, the last 10 minutes was a major disappointment.
Yeah, flat.
Story-wise, it did not work.
Yeah, flat.
And because you didn't care about the characters, especially humans, it just didn't.
And it cut so awkwardly and abruptly because that last scene, because there's a last scene where he does like Fazarat for the Alliance.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden cut. Boom,
I'm like,
Warcraft.
wow.
Like, what?
Yeah,
that's all they got.
That didn't work at all, Judd.
Yeah. But
rated.
dude, all right. There's one shot. Like I don't know if you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Is the last fight between the orcs and the humans?
Mm-hmm.
There was a scene, Judd, where the king is talking to Paula Patton's character, right?
Right. And they slow down time.
And they slow down time. You see them
Yes,
talking.
I was cracking
I
up.
see these fuckers
Yeah.
behind fighting in
slow time.
I'm
That was
like,
cracking me up. I get the feeling. I get the feeling that it's one of those. Oh shit! I get the feeling like something from the game. Like when in
you're
games.
trying to be stylized.
No.
Don't do it
You know,
like that,
in
man.
the game, the game just pause and slow down, and then you get to do something like a spell or something like that. But things just moving slow. But it's a really a
come
game
on.
mechanic. I get the feeling it was that because that just blew over my head.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling that it was something from the game. But they had stuff from the game, like the whole game mechanic, like when they opened the portal back to Stormfell, I want to say. With the whatever. The
With the
hometown.
fella, because
The
you
home
can
the hometown.
keep it true.
The hometown.
Yeah.
And that's from the game. You evacuate and it's like tongue portal from Diablo.
Yeah.
Same
And
thing.
I imagine like the magical spells. Oh yeah, and the magic in this film
Look great.
Look
Yeah,
great
look
as well
great.
too.
Yeah.
I imagine that was from the game as well too.
Right.
The way how
No, it looked great.
it
Yeah.
set up, like,
Yeah.
the
Portals of the
chants and all that
teleport.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But but just before I get to my rating, so I mean I went in with low expectations too. I really was hoping for this thing to be the next best video game movie.
Nah.
Like right now at the moment, it still remains Mortal Kombat.
Right.
And that came out like what 20 years ago. Well,
Yeah.
came out in '95.
Yeah.
And yes, dumb and cheesy as that film was,
Yeah.
it still, at least
Hold
to
up.
me, stayed true
Right.
to the franchise.
That's
The story was bare bones. It was simple, but at least you understood. It was dumb fun.
Yeah.
This one, trying to be like, okay, this is going to be the next Lord of the Rings, and I
Right.
kind of hope it was going to be like that
Try,
too,
yeah.
just off of the visuals alone. And yes, visually it looks very spectacular. I'm not gonna knock the film down for that. If there's one reason to go and see it on big screen,
Yeah, it looked
it's
damn
the
good.
visuals.
I kind of
But-
regret not going IMAX actually.
Oh yeah, it would have looked
It looked
awesome in
amazing.
IMAX,
And
yeah.
but I went the screen I went was solid enough. So
Yeah, it was. It looked good. I saw it in 3D as well too, didn't
okay.
it?
I didn't see it in 3D. I saw it
Although
in
my eyes
3D.
did kind of hurt a bit after
Okay,
seeing
I didn't see it in
don't know
2D.
why.
Yeah, I just saw
think
it in
was
2D
just-
twice, and I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it was just CG overload or something.
Right.
But yeah, because all right, like I said, the orc stuff was pretty interesting. I mean, I like the villain, I like the hero Dorotan and all that.
Right.
But when it got to the humans, it was just like,
Yeah, it did work.
all right, what are they talking
No,
about?
but here's
Why?
a mistake.
I don't
Here's
know.
another mistake I would have liked if they stretch it out a little more. Is well, the realm as we understand it, Azeroth, is at peace because and then we see a bunch of other races. But we didn't see them talk that much. We
Yeah,
just see.
you saw some.
we just, we see
I don't know. I don't know Will of Warcraft.
Right,
But
we
I saw
just-
some elfish characters.
Right, we saw a little
Didn't
opening
see
sequence.
nothing.
We saw a little opening sequence. Some dwarf helping him out with the gun, where you get to see the gun for the first time.
Right. Yeah, they didn't really utilize the dwarfs either.
That's
you know?
what I thought. I thought we would have had all of Azeroth together, doing stuff instead of just human armies. So it was just
Exactly.
human versus orc.
Yeah, so something like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
It was human.
That would have been
it
cool.
was,
That would have been cooler to establish that.
hobbits and elves and
But
dwarfs
well,
and whatnot. Yeah. What else?
rated.
And then before I get to rated,
One more.
And then it was just like this really forced. And I stress on this word, forced romance between Travis and Paula Patton's characters.
Well, you know it was coming.
It just came out of nowhere.
No,
literally.
you know it was coming because they just had to do the whole sex joke stuff, and the wizard guy was looking at her and like, she want to sleep with me, but you can't cope. That
Yeah,
shit now.
but just the way how
Right.
how they executed it was
Yeah, it
just
didn't work.
poor. It was
And then
poor.
they did it with the because I thought the scene with the son dying didn't work. Did I see
No,
it?
I didn't
work.
feel it at all.
Didn't work. And I think
Character motivation.
right, and
character
his
development.
face, like I get it felt like just bad acting, but the whole point is that he's supposed to be just angry.
Yeah.
But then
I didn't like how the father reacted.
Yeah, it didn't work.
You're trying
It
to be
didn't
like, "Ah!"
It didn't work.
It just didn't work.
It didn't work.
So yeah, there were lots of potential with the show here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just really got great visuals and character
As I
design.
said, I would like to see a director's cut.
Yeah.
Hopefully, a director's cut will come out. They have to market the film as that. If the movie doesn't make money, it might make money. It already made money in China, which is
Yeah, yeah, it made
which
a
is a
shit ton
great
of money.
running joke because the running joke is well gold farming in the game and money farming in real life. China, China. It's super popular in China because of gold farming and that whole weird, very disturbing industry that is involved with the game. Whatever.
Yeah. But I'll say this much: if you're a fan of Warcraft, you'll definitely enjoy it. You'll appreciate it.
Right.
If you like that kind of medieval fantasy stuff, like Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, and by the way, the guy who composed the music for Game of Thrones, I forgot his name. I can't really pronounce it. He does the music for this.
Oh, really?
It doesn't stand out as much as all that, but it was decent.
Right.
Acting was alright. I didn't really. I mean, although I just didn't really care about the human characters, but I blamed that on the script. Yeah. Script didn't do anything for me. I didn't really care for the humans at all.
I mean, there had some side people I didn't mind. Like again, I thought everybody's okay, but at times it was looking like a fan film. Some of the special effects.
Like this one moment with Ben Foster character where he was doing the spell. I see the camera, like the frame was shaking up, like it looked real off.
Yeah, look off. Yeah.
And like I say,
that was coming on to the end, and then the whole thing with the golem, and I was like, cool.
No, actually, that was in the middle. That was before the King's son.
No, it had a part where the boy was doing a thing. The boy was doing the spell to get the golem to teleport.
Right, and there was that thing with the golem.
It looked weird.
Didn't understand it.
No, I get that. I follow all of that.
Yeah.
He was making a golem, and
right.
They didn't explain.
But because I didn't understand how it's being.
Here's a big problem. What happens is they didn't explain Medivh being corrupted very well. They didn't do that well.
No.
And then they just rush him going to the magic thing. So the wizard's arc didn't work. The little boy, I forget the character's name, the boy, Catalan or whatever it is.
Yeah, it is Kajar. Forgive us if we pronounce it wrong, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't work. No, Catalan is the son. Whatever. Point is, his arc, they try to give him a full arc too. So give everybody a
little too much screen time he got.
As I said, I want to see it with the extra 40 minutes. I see how that'll turn out.
I'm hoping that it does exist. I hope that this version is not the final version.
I think it will. And it depends on if it make money. But the critics hated this, and I kind of don't really care for this. I don't give it as bad as they do because rating. I want to give my rating.
Well, go ahead with the rating.
Right. I will give this a low movie time. All right. Pretty high, but it did a lot right, and you should still see this in its proper, a good form, a good screen. It visually is quite good. It's a very good spectacle. But yeah, this didn't gel together. Really bad edit. Really, really bad edit in my opinion. Because it just had a good okay on a rhythmic level. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to a tonal building level, didn't work.
All right. Didn't work. For me, because of films like Lord of the Rings that did so much in establishing the world and making us understand and care and root for the characters, I felt that was this. I felt that, with Warcraft, they failed miserably at that. And no amount of great visuals could really make up for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Great visuals are fine, but without a story that I could understand and characters I could really care for, it just doesn't work. So for me, I have to give this a decent 2.5 out of 5 stars. Okay. See it if you really want to, especially if you're a Warcraft fan. Yeah. You'll have fun with it. But I just find that I mean, because it's a video game movie, it doesn't need to be this over the top fun. Exciting show, but it does feel a little too down at times.
But I hope Blizzard not too discouraged by this. It's our first step, it's our first try.
Yeah. It's not a terrible movie,
right?
Guys.
It's not the worst thing ever. Right, exactly. And I really want them. Personally, I would like to see them do Diablo because I'm familiar with Diablo. That's the universe I'm more familiar with. I could talk about the characters and all the backstories and who the rogue is and who this character was and what this character turned to and how this character get corrupted and who Deckard Cain is. Blah blah blah. But this didn't work.
Yeah, and I could totally understand why critics didn't like it, and I'll just end it off like this. There are going to be a lot of non-Warcraft fans that are going to take in this movie for different reasons, but it shouldn't have to go into a movie like this with a wealth of knowledge about Warcraft. Like you have to play all the games for you to get. You still have to give us a proper story.
Right.
And you shouldn't. I mean, it's okay to please the fans and give them a little fan service here and there, but still, what about everybody else? Who haven't played the games? Like how you mentioned these stuff about the characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to know who certain characters are for me to appreciate it.
It's not that because I still do see it. My attitude is they just establish the characters. I don't need to remember that shit. From the games, just establish the characters.
Exactly.
Everything was everybody, every scenario was poorly established.
Yeah, and then even right.
So you didn't give a shit about what they was talking about.
Exactly, and then even right down to it's supposed to be about this baby at the end of the day, and you kind of forget about the baby. It's just really about this whole war and why it's there, But if it's about the baby, then kind of establish that too. So just really, like I say, poor character establishment and story establishment.
Yeah.
So that's what really brought it down.
All right.
But yeah, so what did you guys think about Warcraft? Did you like the film? Did you hate the film? Or they gonna check it out? I still think it should, but just don't go in with the expectations high.
Yeah.
So I just say. Yeah. So what other shows to to look forward to?
Yeah, what coming up? Tarzan coming up. Star Trek coming up.
Yeah. Finding Dory is coming out.
Yeah.
I believe is this week.
Just
at the time of
right.
When this podcast is
Right. So I'm excited
put out.
for that. I'm going to be seeing that.
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing that. I'm definitely going to watch The Conjuring 2.
Yes.
There's a lot of good things about it.
Great.
I enjoyed the hell out of the first one, so
Okay.
already going to go in with high expectations.
I may not go and see that, but I just can't tolerate these horror movies in this way. It just insults my intelligence personally, but here this one is alright.
What?
Horror movies
What,
largely...
Too cliched?
Huh?
Too cliched?
No, it just... on average, characters insult me. The characters insult me intelligence. For something that's
Or
so...
you mean, like, why
be,
would you do that?
Right, exactly.
Don't open that door.
Yeah.
Idiot.
If it's
Why?
supposed to be so scary and so disturbing, you ain't going to be making them decisions. Whatever.
Dude, just go in and laugh at it.
Right.
Man. I know you like to laugh at horror
Right.
movies. You don't go to get
No, I
scared
like when you
I
do a good balance, like how The Witch did it.
Oh, yeah. The
Which was
Witch.
kind of a horror
Witch.
movie, but not really.
Yeah. What else? Well, yes, I forgot to mention Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Cut. Yes, it's coming out on Blu-ray early next month, but it's supposed to come out digitally at the end of this month, I believe.
Cool.
I think it's on the
When
last
is-
Saturday of this month, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright, cool. So
but we definitely have to watch that and review it. You have to give it a second, well, in your
Second.
case, a third viewing. Yeah, maybe the next
I
half hour
still-
might
what I
review
heard,
it, but
no,
I
here's
don't.
how I know it going. I expect it to be shit, and here's why.
Zack Snyder.
But the cinematographer for it said he outright mentioned, he said, if you like the cut, you're gonna like this one, and if you hate it, you're still gonna hate it. And then
So there's no difference really.
no difference really. And then they made him backpedal publicly, and then he come out with another statement saying, no, everybody gonna like it, and it's gonna be improvement. Like,
So
all
come
right.
in and do the scene in Jeremy Irons, because he come out and say,
No, Jeremy,
yeah,
because you can't tell Jeremy Irons that shit. Jeremy
Yeah,
Irons
he's
too big
Jeremy
for that
fucking
nonsense.
Irons, yeah.
Exactly. Jeremy Irons will call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, so, all right, so we could just round up from things here. So,
Yeah.
Ricardo, where
What
can
other
we find you?
what other movie coming out? Star Trek? Something. Some of that I'm kind of excited for.
What else?
Finding Dory, Star Trek, and
Ghostbusters, I
something.
guess you could check that out.
Ghostbusters, right? Something. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll remember when I remember.
Yeah, you I like that. Remember when you remember.
Yeah.
So, right, so Ricardo, if you can remember, where can we find you online?
Yes. You can find me, Ampersat, RMEDDY, that is at Armedi on Twitter.
Ah.
And you could just type in my name, Ricardo Medina, on Facebook. You could find me there. But mostly Twitter. Twitter, I'll be responding to stuff. I don't think I respond to much stuff on Facebook at most. So that's me.
Yeah, okay, you're a Facebook hater.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you could find me on Twitter as well, too. Look for Legally Black MGB. MGB are in capital letters, and also you could type in my name, Matthew Bailey, on Facebook. You'll find me there. And also the link to this podcast and other podcasts and written reviews I've done before, you could find that on a Legally Black official fan base. Oh yes, and this and another show that's coming up as well too. A couple things. First of all, Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes,
is
that's what I
coming
was
out.
trying to remember.
Yes,
That is
definitely
what I
have
was
to
trying
check
to remember.
And also too,
Alright,
just
that's what I-
just a little early heads up. Well, Ricardo, you don't know this. I'm telling you this for the first time. I believe it's the first week in July. I think it's like July 4th or around that time.
Right.
Well, I think it's a couple of days before then. Will mark the first anniversary of BS Beats and Bailey.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because the
Well,
first time we
I
did it
should
was
know
with Terminator Genesis.
Yes.
It was the
Lovely.
first Saturday of
Yes.
of July.
Cool.
So we could celebrate that pretty much by
Right.
talking about Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah. And also too, just one thing to look forward as well to. I will try to have this set up for our next review, which will be about Finding Dory and
Right.
Conjuring 2. One of my all-time favorite albums, Reasonable Doubt,
Right.
debut album from Jay-Z,
Yeah.
is going to be celebrated its 20th anniversary,
Right.
which
Yeah,
will
could talk about
be
that.
2 Saturdays from now.
Right.
So I'm going to take the time to, I've listened to the album hundreds of times, but I'm going to do another
Right.
album review or a little rundown of that.
Right.
So, if you get a chance, Ricardo, you can check it out.
I will be
listen
listening to that album because I love
Yeah,
that
but
album.
I love that album so bad.
There's a couple cool TV things coming out as well.
Yes, Orange is the New Black season 4.
Right.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out.
Mr. Robot coming back.
It's
Season
in
2?
July, right?
Yeah, just now.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
BoJack Horseman season 3 coming out.
Yes, I know
Yes.
it's. I think it's coming out in
Very
late
very
July.
soon, yes.
Or, late July or
Yeah.
early August.
A documentary that debuted last night, I think. I didn't get a chance to see it. OJ Made in America, but it's very good.
I read about it on RuttGeek.com. I heard it's a long documentary, but fantastic.
I haven't got a chance to see it yet. It's supposed to be on ESPN or something like that. I don't have that on my cable.
ESPN?
Think so.
I expect that on A&E or something.
No, I think ESPN was showing it. I don't have their station, or I don't have that version of ESPN that's showing it, maybe. I think it's ESPN 1. Not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't think I have that. But I'm going to be watching it soon. I'll try to make the effort to find it. And then
I will try to check it out too.
A couple movies that I rated last year finally came out. And a movie I didn't get a chance to see yet is now coming out in theaters. So it should hopefully come in Trinidad, but I doubt. There's The Lobster.
Right. Still need to see The Lobster.
Yeah, it came out officially in screenings, in proper screenings recently. Love it. Yeah. Very funny movie.
Still need to see it. I love it too.
Great dry, dark comedy. And then what is The Last Days of the Desert, or The Last Days in the Desert. This is
with Ewan McGregor.
Right. This movie has come out the early 2015. I still haven't seen it yet. I don't know what the hell going on or how they keep that from me. But whatever, it have some top level Illuminati that deny me
don't want you to see this movie.
Yeah, that denying me seeing it. It's supposed to be a very subversive film, but my attitude is, how subversive can it be?
Yeah.
Whatever. What else?
I think it's gonna mention.
Passion of Christ Part 2 coming out.
Yeah,
it's fuck.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's going to touch on the resurrection, because spoiler alert, at the very end of Passion of Christ, you see Christ get up.
Right, but how much that was how long that lasted? That period between him ascending and him walking about. So it's just him walking about.
No, well, it lasted a good while, and then he ascended,
How much time passed? I always got the sense it was like a day at most.
No, it was longer than that.
Okay.
It was longer than that.
Right, well, you could tell us.
But it's just how, I don't remember any films really touching on the resurrection, so
True.
I don't know how they're going to do that.
True, it's never very particularly, and that narrative is never particularly clear anyway from a lot of people.
So think of it like a happy movie from Mel Gibson.
Right.
The last one was very dark and depressing.
Okay, well, at least nobody getting beaten, but you will get to see holes in the body.
Yeah, well, you just see holes in the hand at the very end of the
That'd be super disturbing if his body still mashed up, because it's supposed to be a bodily thing. It's not like his body healed.
Yeah, but in the end, they kind of did show that, like, he got up and the only hole that you saw was through his hand, and that was it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but Passion Christ 2, okay.
Whatever.
We'll see. Okay. But yeah.
Next. Strange. Anyway, no, we have Independence Day. We have Star Trek. Rooting for Star Trek and Independence Day.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Independence Day looks like disaster porn.
Right.
But it's not from Roland Emmerich, so I know they're going to try their damnedest to make him feel very happy. Like, yeah, I wish I did that back in 96. Right. Wow, look at that. You lifted the city and threw it down. That's so awesome. And, I saw the trailer for this before Warcraft, and once again, why do they always like to destroy London?
Yeah, no, they're all.
Why?
London
is like
the
hot spot for destroying shit.
Sydney Opera House is our next one that had a go boy. All the landmarks. That and the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah. San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge is get mashed up all the time.
Like, I wonder how Londoners actually feel like, another movie from those wankers from America about destroying our
There's always do the big landmarks. You have to do the big landmarks.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Right. So, that's pretty much about it, guys.
This is you just being low and depressing. all these movies were just me having to go in, just saying, all right, I'm gonna just do this.
Yeah,
and I enjoy myself. I mean,
it felt like a chore, you know.
Yeah, it really felt like a chore, especially some of the earlier stuff.
But I know we are going to enjoy Finding Dory. I know I definitely
I expect that to be solid.
Conjuring 2.
Right.
So you'll get more happiness and more joyous expression from us with our next podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So until next time, guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you listen to this. All right, let me say that again. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. Once again, this is Matthew Bailey alongside
Ricardo Medina.
And that's our episode of BBB and Bailey. So take care, guys. Till next time, peace.